I mean, yeah, the first couple of years were a handful, and then, 10 the next year, and then, 20, 25 the next year. So it has been kind of doubling every year, year after year.
She didn't pay her rent. What's going on? I'm driving down to Welland right now. I'm going to figure out what's going on. He's like, hold on a second. This is rent to own. She just gave us like $25,000 like 2.5, 3 months ago.
What is up, you guys? Matt McKeever here, sitting down today with the two guys from JAAG Properties. So we have Adam and Alfonso here. Welcome, guys.
Thanks, Matt.
Appreciate you guys sitting down. So just real quick, if you don't mind introducing yourself for the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Alfonso Salemi, born and raised in Hamilton, Ontario.
Adam Wissink here, JAAG Properties, one of the co-founders, CEOs with JAAG Properties here.
Awesome. So you guys have got to 100 rent-to-own properties. So obviously there's at least 100 stories leading up to this. But I'd love to kind of dive into how did you guys originally get into real estate? How did you discover rent-to-own? Let's just kind of explore all of that.
For sure, yeah. I was at the time working a full-time job doing sales and marketing type stuff. I had heard about a recent the Robert Kiyosaki Rich Dad Poor Dad. So he was doing a tour. I went to one of the weeknight courses, took the 3-day class, really delved in, went to the full-time, the committed, paying over 20 grand for the education, and really learned about a few different strategies. But rent to own really stuck with me, and really learned how it worked and how it operated. Adam had done the same thing a couple years prior, and that's how we kind of connected.
I always had an interest in real estate. I had a friend since kindergarten that he was in the real estate pretty big time here in London.
Okay.
So that's kind of where my interest came from. Very similar story. I went to the 2-hour lunch session with my friend there. I asked, he said, yeah, go do the weekend course. Again, $500, whatever it was, did the weekend course. Just get a little bit more info on that. I didn't continue on the 20 grand course like Alfonso here, but it was the same Rich Dad education.
Yeah.
We've always chatted about that. We don't promote Rich Dad over any of the other courses. We just say you should get a real estate education through one of the many streams, right? There's so many streams, whether it's a formalized one like this, or it's a mentor, or just go out and do it, right? Talk to someone, get some good contacts. That's just as good as having something on paper. So that's how I got started. I just went out and did it. That's what I am. You already learned that. I'm just a doer.
And so what was your first property or project?
Yeah, so my very first property was a duplex on Queen Street here in London. Just went in with another buddy, actually, partnered with them. So we had that for about a year before I got into rent-to-owns.
Okay. And so was that just like a turnkey rental? Were you guys doing a lot of renovations on that?
Yeah, turnkey rental. We did minor renovations, but nothing. We didn't re-renovate the whole house or anything like that.
Yeah. And Alfonso, for your first property or project, what did that look like?
Yeah. So again, I was part of this network of the Rich Dad, and I had must have gotten on Adam's list. We had actually never met in person. But I had learned all about rent to own and what you should look for, and he had sent out an opportunity, a rent to own project, very similar to what we do today still. Yeah, very similar to that. And I looked at it, I was just basically going through the deal, and I was like, yeah, that's right, check, yeah, that's right, check, yeah, that's right. And within 15 minutes, I think I emailed him back, I'm like, Adam, I'm in. And he's like, okay, cool, let's, you're my investor, let's do this. And I was like, oh crap. Right? So, and then basically, because he had a little bit more of experience, he had kind of walked me through it. I had all the formalized training, I'd learned the theories of it in the class, and Adam, who had kind of walked the path, had brought me along and said, okay, no, this is what we're doing. And again, I was still working full time, so I was kind of sneaking off to the bathrooms, being mute on a conference call, listening to Adam talk to all the different people, the realtors, the tenant buyers, the setting up the inspections, the insurance, all that type of stuff, and really got the hang of the process, right? So, that's how we kind of connected. It was our first rent-to-own deal in Welland, Ontario. So basically, it was a hairdresser. Basically, needed help repairing a little bit of her credit, but basically, showing proper income, right? So self-employed, right? So that's, typical of our clientele. That was our first deal. She had a great deposit. We we bought the house together as partners, and yeah, she's been successful, rented, and now owns the property. Funny story about that. It was about, I think, 2 months or 3 months into the project, my first ever investment property, right? And we had the automatic payment, so you're not collecting checks. I'm like, oh, Adam, that's so smart, great idea. He's like, yeah, I've had problems collecting checks. Now we do the automatic payment. So we had it set up, and it was like I think, yeah, it was September. And the payment didn't go through. So I was like, okay, it's Labor Day, maybe a couple of bank days after, 2 or 3. And then it was like the 6th or the 7th of the month, 8th of the month. And I call Adam, I'm like, she didn't pay her rent. What's going on? I'm driving down to Welland right now. I'm going to figure out what's going on. He's like, hold on a second. This is rent to own. She just gave us like $25,000 like 2.5, 3 months ago. She didn't just leave. Let's just call her what happened. And sure enough, something happened with her banking. It was compromised, so all the automatic payments were shut down. Sure enough, the day after, she goes, puts the checks into the account. Everything's clean. We're like, I like this rent-to-own thing. Let's see if we can do some more of these.
Yeah, that's awesome. So at that point in time, Adam, when Alfonso joined you on this property, how many rent-to-owns had you done previous to that?
Probably less than a handful of actual rent-to-owns. So I just set up a couple, had been going, did a couple in my own name. I was just looking for joint venture partners to continue on, hope to get that double-digit number, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Alfonso is a random investor. That's like, there's no special formula, there's no background. It's a simple email I sent out to a list I got.
Yeah.
Alfonso happened to be on it. He happened to be one of my investors, and it's pretty close to the same email and performa that I'm still sending out today. So
that's awesome. How did you end up figuring out the template or the process for the emails or setting up rent to own? What originally got you specifically yourself into rent to owns?
Yeah, so to me, the numbers make sense. I mean, it's a win-win-win for everybody. In terms of the email list, the kind of the background, how to set it up, that was from that education course that I took there. It was just a quick, weekend thing, a night thing.
Yeah.
But in terms of the numbers, so my background is engineering. Went to school for that, did it for 7 years before switching to rent-to-owns. So yeah, numbers, spreadsheets, performas, that's my thing. So to me, numbers make sense. You can, set it up. It kind of takes the emotion out of it too. So that's Alfonso's the emotional side. I'll be the numbers side. As you heard from his last story, he said 6-7 days, but I think it was day 2, day 3 that he was on the phone.
Oh yeah,
hounding me. Why isn't it there? So I just kind of cool him down. Gave the client a quick call, and the next day it's there. So so all the numbers just make sense from my background and how I work.
Yeah, Adam's definitely right with the emotional side, and that's why I love rental so much. Is really it helps clients basically that aren't able to qualify or because of bank rules can't get into owning a house, but eventually can own their house if they follow the program. And the other part is that we're helping investors like me that was scared beepless, right, on to invest, but I had somebody that was able to show me to do it that was more hands off, and I was more keen to learn as well too, and it was kind of guided that path. We're not recreating the wheel here. We've done it before. It's just now how can we streamline it and make it the best for us, right?
Yeah. And so Alfonso, how long was it between doing the Rich Dad courses and saying yes to Adam and committing and buying your first deal?
Wow.
Saying yes to Adam.
Saying yes to Adams, yeah, basically. Yeah, saying yes. So essentially, I took the courses in 2011, and because I went on to that $20,000 course, I had gone through the different programs. And what it was like drinking water from a fire hose. It was so much information all at once. And then finally, I had a mentor he had done rent-to-owns as well too, right? And then he had helped me analyze the deal and make me feel more comfortable with that particular strategy. So all in all, it was probably about a year and a half. It wasn't it did take some convincing, going back and forth. I know we had randomly met Adam, obviously being in London. I was in Mississauga at the time actually, so we were kind of meeting halfway in Hamilton, which was great because that's where I'm originally from. And but yeah, it was just really, it really was how that, and I still say to this date, of all of our joint venture partners, all the people that we've worked with, I'm the most difficult investor that we've ever had in JAAG history. Is the questions, the things that I was worried about that normal people don't think about, but sure enough, Adam, it was okay. Well, here, okay, or sometimes it was oh, that's a good question, and within a few days or hours or whatever the situation was, it was kind of like a solution or a backdrop or a backup for that potential problem, which was even like really rare that it would happen. So it made me feel at ease. So that's why I like doing that and showing that to investors as well too.
That's awesome. Yeah. So at what stage did you guys start becoming business partners, and when did JAAG become JAAG?
Yeah, so I mean, we did another one after that.
Yep.
Like I said, I had a bunch on my name. He was getting kind of tapped out on his name. So we just, I think we just talked and said, let's do more. Let's make a business of this. We did kind of click. We've always clicked, even though we are different people completely.
Yeah.
Everyone says that, but that's what makes us work. And it just clicked, and we decided to move on. I think that was 2014.
That's right.
And then we officially incorporated November 2014.
Yep.
And just have continued on. Joint venture partners, we put more into our corporations, multiple corporations, more names, obviously spouses' names, and just figured out how to continue on, right, to get to that 100 plus mark.
Yeah, and we had done the few deals in 2014, and then we had incorporated, and like Adam said, that we kind of instantly clicked, is that we complemented our strong suits and our weaker suits, right? So basically, like I said, Adam is like the whiz with the numbers and has like those answers, those solutions, and I kind of like to think of myself as kind of like a rainmaker and going out there and finding investors and finding clients and finding different people to work with and love networking, getting people connected, and then with the combination of both, right, is how we were able to kind of grow and scale and to find many more joint venture partners, creating systems, and making the process easier for everybody involved, right? For whether it's the tenant buyer, whether it's the realtor, the mortgage broker, whether it's the investor. We've done this now, and like you said, there's probably 100 stories. There's probably more like 1,000, right? Like maybe even more. Like I can't even think of how many home inspections we've done just to get to 100 properties.
Yeah.
But yeah. So again, all those crazy things, scenarios that we're slowly discovering a few of them and different things like that and going through it. But now it's like with fact and how did we approach it? How are other things, and talking to the people that we surround ourselves with.
And so when you guys initially incorporated JAAG, did you have this vision of growing it to 100 plus deals, or what was it in the beginning?
I can honestly say I don't think 100 was ever on my mind, right? Like I said, I was trying to get to double digits. I remember hitting that 10 and then a dozen, and then you think you're on top of the world. I mean, the first couple of years were a handful, and then 10 the next year, and then 20, 25 the next year. So it has been kind of doubling every year, year after year. I can't say 100. I thought I'd ever get to 100 for sure.
It's been like Adam said, it's like kind of like a slow progression on how we've gotten there. And we always said, well, here let's try one a month, right? Let's see if we can get one a month. Let's see how we can operate the system. What do we need to do? How many meetings? How many investors? How many people do we need to talk to? And kind of reverse engineer it, right? So Adam's the engineer, I'm the reverse engineer, I guess, right? But it's really kind of grown it and saying, and it was late last year in 2018 where I think we hit, it was 11 in 1 month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was in November. It was 11. Yeah, and we were like, wow, our goals were way too small, right? We said, one a month, and we almost had like that in 1 month. Right. So, but as we've been able to do it, it's awesome now because we're able to leverage the experience that we have. We know the steps. We know what to foresee. We can see where some of the landmines are, where people get stuck, and why sometimes people don't love the rent-to-own concept, right? When they hear about it, right? So, for those people that are watching from out west, the Ogopogo is in Kelowna. Okay, so it's kind of like a Loch Ness monster, right? And it's kind of like the unknown thing, and that's what sometimes rent-to-own is in the real estate world.
Yeah, 100%. It definitely, there's a lot of misconceptions. There's a lot of different operators in that space, and how each one operates. It's a huge spectrum, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So my YouTube channel, my audience, a lot of them aren't as advanced in their real estate investing journey as you guys are. So a lot of them will hear something like 100 properties, and that sounds amazing. That sounds super tantalizing. Any tips or suggestions for them on how to get started, whether it be with property number 1, property 10, or property 100? Just how do you get started? How do you make that leap?
Yeah, well, again, I don't know. I can only tell you how I did it, right? And for everybody, it's a little bit different. But really, it's having faith, right? And really, in a complete stranger. right? At the end of the day, we were on a list, and we understood I got to the point where I understood the fundamentals of it, and then there was the faith of that deal. But really, it's going out there and learning and finding and expanding your network. Maybe it wasn't rent to own, maybe it was multifamily or a different type of strategy, but really focus in on one or maybe two at the most, and really understand it. Because, you know what, I said this to somebody on a call recently, but back in the day there was like Deion Sanders and like Bo Jackson were like multi-sport athletes, right? But it's impossible to be the best at your sport if you're doing both, right? So you can, you know, I'm sure like LeBron James plays golf and Steph Curry is a great golfer and all that kind of stuff, but really what they're the best at is playing basketball or playing that. So really kind of try to focus in on one or two at the most in that strategy and really learn it inside out and learn from people that are actually doing it.
Yeah. I completely agree, right? Get that, find that niche that whatever hits home to you or clicks with you, right? There is multiple streams of real estate. You can't do them all. No one does all of them, right? It's pick one or two maybe, right? Don't try to dabble in them all. But get that base, you know, whether it is taking an education class, whether it is talking to a mentor, right? Or subscribing to your channels, getting that base so you do have some sort of foundation. But yeah, the partnership is the great way, right? We have 100, we also have 20 kind of buy, rent, hold, vacation rentals on the side. Every single one of those, I have a partner in, right? It's not one is just me. So that's really helpful, having someone else to, you know, put your heads together, throw ideas off, whether it is just someone to, you know, say yes to your question, right? To give you that reassurance, but yeah, have that partner that know how the education and just go do it. Like everyone asks, why, how. I mean, I'm a doer. I just jump in, right? You have people have been doing it for years. It's no new concepts, whether it is buy, rent, holds, rent loans. Go do it. You're gonna stumble. Like, don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid to lose, right? You're gonna lose, whether it's 1 or 100, right? Something's gonna go wrong. But there's people out there you can ask questions to, right? People you can go to for solutions and answers. Just go do it. If you have the interest, go do it. You're gonna love it, right? Yeah. And it could turn out to 100. Maybe it's just 1 or 2, and that's all you want to do, right? Everyone's different.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. So, you guys have been incorporated now, been in business officially together for over 5 years. What does 2019 look like? What's the future of JAAG Properties look like for you guys?
Yeah, so, well, you know what, just recently we celebrated the 100 properties, and we kind of had put a goal out there. So we said with 2019 and 2020, we want to get to the 200 mark by the end of 2020. So it kind of aligns, right? All the 2s and the 0s and all that kind of stuff. So that's a goal. Definitely, you know, continue to streamline and grow our process just to become better. And, you know, Adam mentioned, right, like, don't be scared to fail, is that we are trying, you know, different things, incorporating better things into our rent-to-own program to try to make it work. And, you know, it's not going to go 100% to plan, but we're going to learn from that. As the other mistakes and things that we've done, we've learned from those. So yeah, to get to that number, to grow, really is to spend a little bit more time with our families. Adam's got 2 beautiful kids and a wife. Like I'm with my grandmother, my parents, and I hang out with and spend more time with family and doing the things that we enjoy, right? So, but yeah, it's definitely to continue to grow, to get to help more people own their homes, right? And as things get harder and things change and there's just more uncertainty, this is just a time tested and true way of, if you can understand how credit works and how understand finances work, you can own your home. And that speaks for both the tenant buyer and the investor on how to utilize what equity or assets that they do have into investments as well too. Yeah. Awesome.
So JAAG Properties is obviously where you guys spend a lot of your attention and time, but you guys have actually done other stuff as well. I know, Alfonso, you've helped found the Right Club podcast as well. Is it CAROP, right?
The Canadian Association of Rental Professionals.
Just talk about some of your other endeavors in addition to JAAG.
Yeah, for sure. Well, definitely, for the Right Club has been, just a huge blessing. So it just correlates to more or less what JAAG's about as well too, is helping other investors and helping other people just learn more. How, again, we got started, and again, a complete stranger that we've become business partners and good friends, you know, in a short period of time.
It shows the importance of networking, right? And
Absolutely.
So I think that's what's great about the Right Club, is you've just planted the flag in Toronto and have created this massive meetup group for investors.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to educate people on whatever that strategy may be, or that concept, or that they just want to learn more about, so that they feel confident passively investing in something, right? So education is key, action is better, but yeah, getting out there and meeting people. You know what? You guys are watching this on a screen, on a video, not in person. This is the second best thing, but getting out there, meeting people in person is very important, and strengthens relationships. I would never have done a deal with Adam if I didn't have actually met him first.
Yeah.
Funny enough, we've done deals with people that we actually haven't met yet either, but that's the thing, is that, you know, like, I don't think, like I said, in terms of a business partner on a property too, it's a different story. So yeah.
And then can you talk maybe a bit about CareUp, Adam, and just kind of what that is and what that's about?
Yeah, so CareUp is the Canadian Association for Rent-to-Own Professionals. So right now there's not a strict criteria or guideline for rent-to-owns. That's something we're trying to push for. So there is almost like a license for it. There's a lot of people that say they do rent-to-owns, right? There's a lot of landlords that want to sell their house. So they use it as a term, a loose term, and they're not successful. So you hear a lot of horror stories of people losing their home, losing their money. Those stories come from programs that weren't set up properly. I wouldn't even call them programs. They're set up from someone saying, you can buy this from me in a whatever term. There's no program, there's no system we have set up. We have a credit team that works with them. We're saving specific money to build their down payment. We're going to the house quarterly, doing inspections. We have that personal approach with all our clients to ensure that they are successful. So that's something we're trying to push for CareUp. Alfonso is on the board of directors, so they are pushing for that. And it's not just to weed out the bad companies, but it's to build some sort of nationwide criteria, curriculum, profession, license, however we want to push it, because right now it is loose, it's open. We do a lot of networking, education to educate not just clients, but investors and professionals out there the right way to do the rent-to-owns, so the clients are successful. Our whole program's built so, you know, their success is our business. Without our clients' success, we're not going to have a business. So we strive for that win-win-win approach, that everybody wins. The client gets the home. That's our whole goal, to set up the home, set up the program, is for them to be on title. So I don't know if you want to talk more about CareUp. You're more involved than I am.
Well, yeah, no, again, exactly what you said, right, is to have some type of curriculum or some type of program where we are helping the people that own their home, right? And I think through the rent-to-own program, it's educating the homeowner, right? The common person, like, there was no class or course that I took anyway in high school or college that taught you about your credit score or financing, right? So there's a lack of that out there, and you know, there have been steps made towards it, and that's great. But when you are actually out in the world and have to go and own your house and have to do it for yourself, you have to find your way, right? So unless you have some guidance, and that's what we're trying to provide, right? So through CareUp is doing that the right way, not just for the properties, but for the people as well too.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you guys. I think that for the vast majority of rent-owns where it doesn't work out, or we hear the horror stories, it's because the operator or facilitator of the rent-own, they don't have systems or procedures or like standard operating procedures in place.
Right.
I think that that's what's really important, and that's what is exciting about CareUp and what you guys are doing. I just love the fact that when you guys see kind of an opening in the market or a lack, you go do it. You set up the right club, you set up CareUp, you know. You start JAAG Properties to start helping facilitate doing more rent-owns on a larger scale.
Yeah, I think it was Nike, right? Just do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard somebody say that once.
100%. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to sit down. I'm sure some of our audience members are going to want to reach out to you and learn more about your backstories or how to get involved in rent-to-owns or just hear about those 100+ stories. What's the best way for people to reach out to actually contact you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. The website. JAAGproperties.com. You can see it here, right? So JAAG Properties.com. You can visit us there as well. You can reach out to either one of us. Our emails or contacts are on there as well too. And I'm going to put a challenge out to all your followers and all your listeners. If you're in the GTA area, if you reach out and get onto the JAAG Properties mailing list, I'm going to offer a free ticket to a future Right Club event. All right, so if you've never attended a Right Club meeting, definitely get out and get on our list, and obviously on the Right Club list, and come out to one of our events for sure.
That's awesome. I love it. If you guys haven't been out to a Right Club meeting, you absolutely need to take Alfonso up on this offer. It's an amazing group, amazing environment. Just there's usually like 200 plus investors, it seems like, every time I'm there. And we try and be there for every meeting as well. So again, I highly recommend you take them up on this offer. I'll throw a link in the video description down below so you can do so. But otherwise, until next time, remember, making money is a team sport. There's more than enough money in this world for us to all make it. But if you're not saving it, I mean, like, what's the point, guys? Thanks.